You're invited. Join Dane County Humane Society for Toto's Gala on Friday, March 14th at Monona Terrace. Enjoy a night of cocktails, dinner, dancing, and, best of all, adorable animal greeters. Bid on incredible items in their silent auction and discover how the dreams we dare to dream for animals come true. Your support helps DCHS provide life-saving care for animals in need. Don't miss this unforgettable evening. Reserve your spot now at giveshelter.org/Toto. Today on CityCast Madison. Do you know the towering lit-up Orpheum Theater sign on State Street? What about the Madison Youth Arts sign off of East Wash? Or the neon sign at Lola's High-Low Lounge on North Sherman? Well, the artist behind each of them is Dan Yoder. I sat down with him last year to learn how these iconic signs are created. It's Wednesday, February 26th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Dan, hello.
Hello. Nice to see everyone today.
Yes, it's lovely to see you. You have a great beard.
Well, thank you.
You are an aesthetic man. You've either made or restored some of Madison's most iconic signs. Anything from the huge signs like Badger Liquors and the Orpheum Theater on State Street to restaurant signs like Lola's, Umami Ramen, Dottie's Dumplings. Can't name them all, but which was the most fun to work on?
Oh, that's a loaded question. Each project takes on a life of its own, but certainly the Orpheum sticks out for many reasons. It checks pretty much all the boxes. It's old school. I get to spend quite a bit of time doing the research and finding images that I could work from to recreate the design. And we built that in our old shop, so there's a little bit of nostalgia there. It was a 1,600 square foot, tiny shop in Mount Horeb. That was 10 pounds of you-know-what in a 5-pound bag just to get that sign built in our shop. And so that one sticks out for sure. But they've all been fun.
That one, blows my mind. It's safe to say it's probably Madison's most photographed sign. A 55-foot stunner, originally from the, 50s. Yeah, so you're working on it in your old shop, which is much smaller. You've since expanded, but what was it like to work on that project? Like, what went into that?
Well, one thing just to clarify, and there's a lot of misconception about, we didn't restore anything. There was a replica that we built of the original sign from 1927. So in 1950, somewhere in there, the original sign was removed and was replaced with what everybody knew as the Orpheum sign. So there was some flack that was saying like, hey, you guys are taking down, the original Orpheum sign and a piece of history, which of course we did, it had been up since the 50s, but a lot of people weren't aware that was put up in the 50s. So
it wasn't the 1927 sign. I'm glad that you said that, because I've got this record, when you saw State Street, and it was like, I feel like it's got to be older than the 50s.
Right.
Yeah, so you did not take down the original. So
we did not.
Yeah.
Yep. The original was taken down. We don't know what happened to it. A lot of those theater signs, all these theaters opened up motion picture in the late 20s, and then unfortunately Great Depression happened, and a lot of them it couldn't keep up the electricity bill for various other reasons, keep the doors open. So a lot of those theater signs, they were removed and put in a landfill or something. But anyway, yeah, going back to that, there just was a lot of research that went into it, painstakingly recreating the design, from photographs. And it took, I think, 5 months, right in there, 5 or 6 months. And then the install went really smooth. We've had simple signs that are much smaller that have taken 2 or 3 times as long, but there was good chi in that project from the beginning, good energy. So
I love to hear it. We need that in Madison.
Yes, we do. Yep.
Yeah. Your signs really bring a lot of good energy, all of the signs that I've seen. I saw the Lola sign, first thing I saw this year from you, and it blew me away. Like, the neon signs are really gorgeous. And the lights in the Orpheum sign, it's just like, it adds shine to our streets. So, in addition to the huge metal and electric signs, you also paint signs. Your company did the 7-acre dairy butter mural and their sign out front. How often do you do murals or hand-painted signs?
Yeah, it's strange because when I started my company, in 2005, it didn't seem like sign painting was something that people were interested in. But somewhere in the 2009, 2010, I think things started to turn. People were kind of getting tired of the digital and the cheap and the quick, and the pendulum swung, fortunately, and we were in the right spot at the right time and able to offer a service that a lot of other sign companies weren't.
Yeah, I feel like Madison has a hankering for nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we dig it. We get down with the nostalgia in this city.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it goes without saying, our customers are a big part of this. They see the value in this. We have amazing customers that we feel really aligned with. And when you have that alignment, something special happens. And the projects go really smooth. They're a joy to work on. And there's no resistance. And so, yeah, a lot of this, we're very grateful for our clients that they see the same value in these. We call them caretakers. We tell them, like, you're now caretakers of, some of these neon signs, and they do need love and they do need care. They do need maintenance. That's not like an LED sign. And we found that they're happy to do so because I think they understand what they have.
How did you get into this work?
I happened to get a job at a sign shop when I was 19 years old. I barely graduated high school, wasn't on the best path per se. And I saw these cool vans running around town, like these little Astro vans. And this was in, the late 90s. And there was a cool airbrush. There was like a skull crawling out of the back, airbrushed onto the back of one of these vans. And it was a company called Vital Signs in Verona. I didn't even know what they did, but I liked their vans. And I think my dad had a connection with Mike, the owner, and asked if they had any room for someone like me. And so, yeah, I started there and instantly fell in love with the trade, like immediately. And I thought it was like some magical thing that, how could this be a way to make a living? It's commercial art. I got fired within a couple months, which was well-deserved. But I came back a couple months later, asked for my job back, and worked there for another 6 years until we parted ways and I started Sign Art Studio in 2005.
So the magic stayed with you.
It did, and it does every day. It really does.
Lowe's knows that free is just better. That's why MyLowe's Rewards is free to join. As a member, you earn points towards MyLowe's money on eligible purchases, get exclusive free gifts, and earn free shipping at Silver Key status, all on top of weekly member-only deals. Don't wait. Join MyLowe's Rewards for free today and start saving more. Lowe's, we help, you save. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Details at lowes.com/terms. Subject to change.
This episode is brought to you by the Nissan Armada Pro 4X. With a twin-turbo V6 engine ready to propel your adventures, up to 8,500 pounds of towing capacity to haul all your favorite toys and space for 8 passengers, Nissan's most powerful car yet will chew up and spit out anything you throw at it. Learn more about the all-new 2025 Nissan Armada at nissanusa.com. Towing capacity varies by configuration. See Nissan Towing Guide and Owner's Manual for additional information. Always secure cargo.
Well, you're talking about your customers and your clients and them taking on these signs that take a little bit more care, but saying that they know that the value that they bring. I'm curious, do you think that the classic neon and big lighted signs will ever get replaced by something like LEDs and the digital stuff, perhaps less exciting, but more modern?
They have, and that is a big, goal of ours, certainly in the last probably 10 years, is to reintegrate neon back into the city of Madison. I think LED came along and digital printers, and people can get stuff quicker, cheaper. LED does last longer in some cases, which is kind of that's a tricky conversation. As an example, there's a sign they found in a wall somewhere in California, like they did some demolition, And I believe the sign was from the 30s or 40s. And it was a neon sign that was still on, literally inside of a wall. And they just found this like a year or two ago. So under the right circumstances, neon can last a very long time. Will neon ever be completely and totally replaced? I hope not. I think as long as there's companies out there like us and neon benders still doing the work, I'd like to think not, but it's hard to say. LED has certainly done a number on the neon industry. That is for sure. There's only Tom Zicker with Neon Lab. I believe he's the only neon shop left in Dane County. There used to be quite a few. There's another element that brings some exclusivity, I guess, to that, that there are still a couple companies out there doing it, and we're proud to be one of those companies. That's for sure.
Yeah, and maybe it gives you a little fire to keep the industry going. I've looked at your website, and I'm just so impressed with the business ethics and the thoughtfulness that really comes across, and your love of the industry and growing the industry. And it seems like a unique one that not many people work in sign work. Why is that?
I don't know. I think everybody should work in the sign trade. I really do. It's so great.
I like magic. Hey.
Yes, I think it absolutely is magic. And certainly neon. I think my buddy Tom's a wizard. I've told him that many times. I don't understand why the trade doesn't have as much exposure as it could. I think a lot of it probably just has to do with the size of the market itself, the actual signage market. It's much smaller than the roofing market or general construction, trades. But that said, if I can hang my hat on anything by the time I'm done with my career, it is bringing, more spotlight to the sign trade itself. We do have a couple apprentices that have come into the shop over the last couple of years through the high school. We also had an intern through University of Platteville, and we hope to continue to do that and expand on that. I'd like to have this conversation with the Boys and Girls Club about coming in and talking to some of their students about this trade. I hope it stays alive. That's for sure. I really do.
I adore that. I was a Boys and Girls Club member and later went back and worked there. So
awesome.
Yay for including the Boys and Girls Club. And you just did signs for their new Verona Road location.
We did. Yeah. That was a great experience. And it was fun. We got to do design, a lot of the creative design work on the front end and do the fabrication and install. So it was fun to do that front to back.
Yeah, I've seen a video of you pointing out what makes one neon sign more kind of beautiful than the LED lights. And
yes,
you clearly take a lot of pride in the artistry, the craft, and the design. And I'm just curious, like, what is that like? Like, what goes into that job when you're going to make a sign? Like, what does that look like and feel like for you?
It's a lot. So obviously, we have a full team. I mean, we have around 25 people full-time on our team. So there's a lot of different things that go into it. But it all starts initially on the front end with a creative design, a design concept, basically. And that front-end creative process then turns into, then we got to estimate it. And then customer signs off. And then it moves to our technical department where they develop all of the build plans. And they're very comprehensive plans. This is where we figure out exactly how we're going to build the signs. There's coordination that needs to happen with engineers, electricians, masons, concrete, you name it. Once that planning is done, then it moves out to the shop and our fabrication team, which I'm on now. I'm back on the fabrication team, and I'm happy to say that. I get to be back out in the shop, it's been a long time coming. I've wanted to, so making that happen for 24. But yeah, then we build the signs, and all throughout the process, lots of meetings, more meetings than probably anybody wants, but it's all part of the process.
It's a complex production process.
It's very complex. It is very complex. Most everything we build is from raw materials, so raw aluminum materials that come in, and we bend it, shape it, weld it, mold it, paint it.
Turn it, bop it, twist it.
Yep, exactly. Yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and you're one of the few shops that actually designs and makes your signs.
Yeah, in our area, yeah. It's an honor. I really enjoy seeing it actually manifest into a real, actual, tangible thing. to go from and see it happen out in the shop. It's great.
Yeah, before I let you go, you've made thousands of signs. Is there a sign in Madison that you didn't make but wish you had?
Yes, there's a lot. I will say the university, I don't know what to call it, University Square. What is that? Where the Lucky building?
Yeah. Right. Yep.
I always wished we could have worked on. There was like that cool elephant thing by that entry. I always wish we could have worked on that. But it's funny now, as we've started to get a pretty good footprint in Madison, I'll see buildings, go up, and I'm like, hey, why aren't we working on that? Who's working on that project, and why aren't we? I get a little territorial as we've expanded, but there's plenty of work to go around, and we've got good relationships with all our competitors here at Madison, so we have a good time.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Dan, for bringing the magic to Madison. We appreciate you talking to us too on CityCast.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you very much.
That's Dan Yoder, owner of Sign Art Studio. Thanks for all of your service beautifying our city. That's all for today here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, your host. If you enjoyed the show, why not share this episode with someone who loves neon? We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care.